Hello, my name is Milton, and this is a testimonial for American Gospel. First of all, I just want to thank the producers for releasing AGTV, a new streaming service dedicated to sound doctrine and biblical truth. Now, when this streaming service was released over the Thanksgiving holiday, I pretty much spent that whole weekend watching both American Gospel films. And quite frankly, I was blown away. And I'm just so thankful to have the streaming service because honestly, it could have I could have definitely have used the streaming service when it first came out when I first got saved over a decade ago. At the time when I first got saved, I was pretty much more involved in like word of faith, charismatic theology. I had grown up in church too, but I didn't really understand the truth. I didn't understand the gospel. I was just a Christian in name only, but by God's grace, He regenerated my heart after I was born again. But even then, I still didn't know. I still didn't really know the Bible. I didn't know theology. I didn't even know what a seminary was, and overall, I just didn't know what the gospel entails until I heard a preacher by the name of Paul Washer, who honestly is one of my favorite preachers today because of his impact and his passion on what the gospel entails. And I'm so thankful to see him among others in the American gospel films that really drive home what the gospel is all about, up against the the false doctrines that are that have permeated our churches today, whether it's the prosperity gospel, the New Apostolic Reformation, the progressive movement, New Age, social justice, and the list goes on and on. And it's quite startling and heartbreaking to see that because while I feel like myself and a few others in my life have been learning, sound doctrine and biblical truth, there are many of us, and perhaps for some of you guys, you may have friends and family who are still in these movements, and perhaps they don't want to listen to you. Perhaps they think you're being a Pharisee or a religious spirit whenever you try to speak to them about the truth. And it can be frustrating at times. Believe me, it really is. And sometimes it can be a lonely battle. But as I am reminded in 1 Kings 18, God told Elijah that even though despite his troubles, there were still 7,000 who did not bow their feet to Baal, which goes to show that God always has a remnant that will always stand up for the truth. And we need that nowadays. We need to stand up for the truth like never before. The world's not going to give it to us. And unfortunately, a lot of churches are not giving that to us at all. So we need to be able to stand for the truth. And we also need platforms like AGTV to help us learn that truth, because so many of us don't know where to start. And moreover, I think pastors and church leaders, they fail to make themselves accountable. They just turn it back on you, and they tell you to stop being critical and to just listen to them because they're the ones in charge and that they hear from God, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. But we know that God definitely holds them to a standard that they are to rightly divide the word of truth. Now, going back to American Gospel, the films and the streaming service, I'm just so thankful that it's out now. It's definitely out now, and I highly recommend that everybody should go check it out and to be able to learn, and not only that, to be able to stand up and do something on their own. Maybe they want to do a podcast. Maybe they want to do videos, or they want to get involved in ministry. I know for me, I'm starting a podcast that is dedicated to delivering sound doctrine and biblical truth. It's called For Your Soul Podcast, and I'm just so thankful to have American Gospel to help equip me so that I can equip others as well to the glory of God, because we need the truth. And as Jesus prays to the Lord, his Father, in John 17 verse 17, that we may be sanctified in truth, for his word is truth. And if Jesus prays that to the Father, then guess what? That's the prayer that God will answer for his church, because God, he sends out his word and it will not return void. And therefore the church, the true church, will be equipped in biblical truth. And I pray that us as the church would be motivated to pursue it and and then to go on and proclaim it to the glory of God. Anyways, I just want to thank the producers of American Gospel for releasing the streaming service. May God continue to bless your labors, and just know that your labor is not in vain, because so many people like myself are being impacted by it. Thank you.